Okay, we saw quite the finish at the end of the Eagles-Cowboys game. It looked like Philadelphia was going to run away with it. Didn't quite happen. Kind of all started with this play. It was almost a disaster. I mean, think about how good of a job Dallas was able to do in that final drive. Imagine if they had a short field, which they nearly did. You have a player in motion, and it's going to be a handoff to the running back, but someone's not on the same page. You're going to see that when this ball is handed off, basically, you're just going to have your running back run right into a wide receiver. That's not how that play is supposed to work. To make matters worse, this is fumbled somehow. It's the guard, 56. He falls on it right there. Great awareness to notice that, get on the football, and have it not be a disaster. But yeah, a disaster still for that to happen. I mean, you had a chance of converting on a 3rd and 7. Wasn't likely, but you had a chance. End up having to punt it to Dallas. So here's the situation. 46 seconds, no timeouts at your own 14. This is a disastrous situation right here. What's going to happen is it's a, cover 2 zone. What they're going to do right now is just take a chance down the field, right? I think at this point, you're not even thinking a drive. You're thinking, let's get in field goal range. It's Michael Gallup on James Bradbury on the outside. As you see, Prescott takes the snap. The safety kind of stays over the middle, leaving the sideline open. So it's a one-on-one matchup, and it's covered. There isn't separation, but Bradbury's playing the wide receiver. People often wonder on these underthrown deep passes, what is the defensive back supposed to do? The answer is you're not supposed to get in this position. You're supposed to be able to be in position where you can play the football. Because as a wide receiver, he comes back for the football, but for the, for the defensive back, James Bradbury, he ends up running into the receiver. It's a tough play. It's one of those impossible plays seemingly by a defensive back, but that is pass interference by rule, so they are going to call that, and that is obviously huge. Not only does it give you the ball at midfield where you can, try for a Hail Mary if you want, it stops the clock, and you have 40 seconds, and, you're not even thinking Hail Mary at this point. You're thinking get a drive going. Going over here, this is another smart play where you kind of know what Philadelphia is probably going to do. They love their cover 2 zone. It's a pretty good coverage to prevent deep stuff happening. It's not like they're going in full prevent defense or anything like that. Like, they're playing football. For Dallas, though, it's going to be, what they're going to do is they're going to have 2 receivers run deeper routes, and then it's going to be the tight end Jake Ferguson running, not underneath, but, kind of towards the sideline right at the first down marker, trying to gain 10 yards or so. So Prescott takes the snap. He is going to eventually look over in that direction, steps up in the pocket, makes the throw. I'm going to pause it right here. You can see that it is open. And again, well done, well play called by Mike McCarthy to get someone open here, so good stuff there. As you see, this ball is going to be caught. Debatable as to whether or not that should have been stopping the clock. I think you could have argued that, because again, if you go out of bounds going forward, then it stops the clock. If you go just going straight towards the sideline or backwards, then it does not stop the clock. That's an important detail. So there definitely was some debate going on as to should that have been a, stopping the clock or not. Didn't actually matter though, because a penalty stopped the clock and there was a flag around where the quarterback was. Going over here, this was it. It's everybody's favorite, roughing the passer. It's sort of a 2-step rule. Can you take 2 steps before running into the quarterback? And Hassan Reddick, I think, just does take a 2nd step before hitting Prescott. So that is roughing the passer. Again, they call it so tight, right? You get really no room for error if you're Reddick. That didn't seem like, obviously wasn't a dirty play, but just wasn't able to hold up in time. Maybe got a little too excited seeing Prescott, ends up with a slight late hit, which gives them another 15 yards. So now we're going over here, and Philadelphia's saying, you know what, that zone coverage stuff, not really working out right now. Dallas kind of has us figured out. Let's mix it up. Let's go with some man. But Dallas is one step ahead of them. They're aware that this might be something that they try and do. They're going to have a receiver run a deeper route. Another run just runs, quick towards the sideline. And as you see, essentially both Philadelphia defensive back stay deep. I think that there was maybe even a miscommunication involved there. One thought there should be a switch. The other one did not switch, left a player wide open. You're able to get the ball all the way to the 10-yard line. So from a drive that seemed like it was destined to just try a Hail Mary and hope for the best by Dallas, it all of a sudden turns into a drive that you feel like you actually have a chance. And not just one chance, but several chances to try and get into the end zone. It brings up this situation, and you still don't have the full playbook, right? Because 27 seconds left, no timeouts. If you do get tackled in bounds, really you have to have a plan for it, right? You have to know what you're going to do. And I'm assuming Dallas did have a plan for it. But anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves. This play, it's going to be Josh Sweat, one-on-one on the outside. Part of what makes Philadelphia so deadly is they just have so many different players who can come through. Watch what he's going to do. I mean, as you see, he is going to win this one-on-one matchup quickly. Play was a bit more of a longer developing play, so Prescott held on to it for a bit longer. I also don't know how Prescott didn't fumble that football. I mean, it looked like he was, about to throw it wall on his back and then got hit by another Eagles player and still somehow did not come out of his hands. So, I don't know, great grip strength on that one by Prescott. So now you're in trouble, right? I mean, you had 20 seconds left or so at this point, no timeouts. What they ended up doing was they scrambled up to the line and then just threw one out of the back of the end zone, which gave them 5 seconds left. Personally, I think spiking the ball would have been the right strategy there. You would have had 10 seconds. You still would have had 2 plays, but you just would have given yourself more time. I felt kind of burned a chance there. So I would have preferred them. And maybe they had a play already called, so that's why they did it. But I don't know. I think just spiking it probably a fine move there. But okay, that brings it to this. All of the, plays that's happened so far in this football game comes down to this, 5 seconds. I had the thought, I wonder how many other people did, of, hey, Philadelphia, I mean, there's legitimately everyone in the end zone except for 3 defenders who are rushing the passer. Kind of did make you wonder a little bit of, there's 5 seconds left. You could flip it to a wide receiver, try to pick up, 5-10 yards or so, and then step out of bounds. I don't know how much that helps, but it helps a little bit. I was wondering if they were going to decide to do that, but they ultimately, I think, decided that's probably not worth the risk. So Prescott takes a snap. He is going to eventually fire one down the field, and I don't know if this was by design or what, but you see that there is a Dallas player who was open just in front of the goal line. And I kind of feel like maybe this is a bit of a compromise for Philadelphia. They're saying, you know what? You want to catch a ball at the 4-yard line and see if you can find your way in? Go ahead, take that. And Dallas is saying, okay, let's take that because, throwing the ball into the end zone and getting a touchdown straight up that way, going to be a lot more difficult. As you see, it's caught, but not quite able to get into the end zone as Philadelphia was able to come over. And it looked like CeeDee Lamb there almost tried to fumble it at the last second, just as a kind of a last-ditch effort. Wasn't going to really do much there, though. I don't know if an offensive lineman could come through and make a play happen. So Dallas, they had their opportunities. It was really that sack. I mean, Sweat with that sack, that's what did it. If he doesn't make that sack there, feels very likely Dallas ends up winning this football game. But for Philadelphia, it wasn't perfect. Dallas definitely showed up in this game. You got good Dak Prescott. He was able to play really well in this game, move the ball effectively, but the red zone defense was really what did it. And this final drive was really a great example of what they did all game long. It feels like being able to stop the Cowboys when it mattered most. And I say all game long, really the fourth quarter. That's when it mattered the most. So yeah, exciting drive, really exciting game. A lot of good stuff by both teams, some not some good stuff by both teams. That's kind of what makes these end of drive situations so fun. And again, huge win for Philadelphia. If they lost, they would have been just half a game up on the Dallas Cowboys. Instead, they remain 8-1, best record in football for Dallas. Definitely a gutting loss, but at the same time, I think you have to feel pretty good about how your team played. You showed you can hang with the big dogs. You can, even if you ended up losing this one. So yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.